Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As a preface for this video, as we've discussed in other videos made contemporaneously with this one and that have come out already, or should have, as of the time this video is coming out, there was a real tragedy in Thailand. It was terrible. There was the attack basically on a child care facility here in Thailand, and there's no words for what happened. I mean, and I've read through some of the stuff. I couldn't even read all the way through it. It is awful what happened. That's just it. Sort of in the aftermath of that, there was a kind of less than appropriate moment that occurred as a result of some reporters here. I thought of making this video after reading a recent article from the Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com. Article is titled, CNN Visas Revoked, Charges Pending Over, quote, Unethical, unquote, Coverage. Quoting directly, the Immigration Bureau has withdrawn visas issued for 2 CNN reporters after they entered the off-limits child care center where a mass shooting took place to report on the story. Now, they name these folks in here. I'm not going to name them, so name redacted and name redacted were assigned to cover the massacre at the daycare center of the Utai Sawan Tambon Administration Organization on Thursday. This is where it just really threw me way off. They trespassed the crime scene and reported from inside the building where 24 children had been murdered. The picture of the two climbing over the fence from the center went public on Saturday, and there's further stuff that they get into it. I urge those who are watching this video, read this article. Very detailed coverage. Bangkok Post did a good job on this. A lot of information out there. There's still stuff kind of coming out about this, and it's just none of it's good. But it has immigration implications, and frankly, it has implications that kind of speak to kind of the zeitgeist of this channel, or sort of the overall paradigm of this channel, which is, foreigners want to come to Thailand. But at the same time, there's coming to Thailand and having a good time, or coming to Thailand and working or whatever, and then there's coming to Thailand, in my opinion, acting totally unreasonably. As they note further in the article, these folks said that, well, we were given permission by someone. Well, it turned out apparently they were given ostensible permission by someone who didn't have authority to give it. I have a hard time reconciling the notion that they'd been given permission to enter the premises with the fact they were climbing over a fence. Generally speaking, if you're allowed to enter the premises, there's some sort of gate or door that you would go through when you would be entering those premises. You wouldn't be climbing over a fence. I also truly wonder, how much permission was granted, or was it just sort of, as we noted in other videos, these folks are here on tourist visas. They weren't work authorized, so they just came in, started doing this without work authorization in Thailand. And as we've discussed in other videos, there are visas, there are media visas. There's a media visa category here in Thailand. Don't discuss it very often. It's not overly pertinent to, frankly, the folks that watch this channel. But yeah, there is a media visa category. So there is an appropriate visa for journalists. It's out there. There's no problem with that. That being said, I think this was pretty over the top. And then the notion that there was permission, I'm really wondering, how much of an in-depth conversation was had, or was it just one of these kind of deals where they were talking to some low-level person and they were kind of, I don't know, trying to shuck and jive, as they'd say, back in the United States, and try to kind of pull a fast one or something. I don't want to cast aspersions. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't fully know, but it seems odd that they'd get permission from somebody who didn't have authority to give it. And then it also seems odd that you'd climb over a fence. That just doesn't, I don't understand that. And that kind of brings me to the thrust of this video, which is, foreigners tend to come here and they just do things sometimes that I know, I've dealt with it in a criminal context. I've been present when dealing with Thai attorneys here that are dealing with clients that are, they've done something that's caused them to end up in jail. And, you talk to them, you find out that under any other circumstances anywhere else in the world, they never would have done something like that. And I don't know what it is about Thailand. Maybe foreigners come here and they just kind of lose their inhibitions or something. Yeah, you know, there's also kind of this weird, I hesitate to call it colonial, but there's kind of this weird mindset of certain foreigners, especially from the West, that I don't know how to put it exactly, but a kind of like, well, we know best, or we know better, or we know what we're doing kind of mentality that arises when dealing with Thailand. And it's like, I think to myself, what are you thinking? This is these people's country. It's not your country. You don't know what's going on here. Can you read Thai? Do you know what's going on? You know, I mean, what are you doing? Kind of thing. And I'm not really trying to do this to just drill down on these folks and how this happened, but it really, I can't stress enough how it's a bit of a microcosm of kind of foreigners or Farang acting badly in Thailand, you know, where they just kind of sometimes come and just do whatever they want and think they have impunity, and then when they get into problems, well, the other one that always seems to pop up is then the sort of opining as to the draconian nature of the Thai justice system comes up. Well, it's sort of like, hey, you know, the Thai justice system didn't tell you to climb over a fence into an active crime, so, you know, an active crime scene. You know, what's going on here? So that said, you know, not to belabor the point or, you know, beat a dead horse here, but, you know, a lot of people have asked me to do videos to kind of, you know, note that Thailand's a great place in the aftermath of this, and this shouldn't be sort of indicative of, or people shouldn't sort of in their minds automatically put this tragedy, you know, associated with Thailand. But it did happen in Thailand. It's terrible. But that said, it's a massive anomaly. This isn't something that happens in Thailand. I mean, I think that's why folks here in Thailand are so shaken by it. But at the same time, I gotta be honest, you know, I've seen a lot more antics by foreigners in this whole thing well, obviously not behaving as badly as the perpetrator, obviously not that. But I mean, in the aftermath of this, as I said in another video, you know, maybe folks just got overwrought. They weren't really thinking. They were trying to, you know, deal with a really bad situation, and that can certainly happen. I don't think these folks deserve to be vilified forever. I'm more kind of making this in a more general context to just kind of talk about the fact that, yeah, foreigners tend to come here and think that it's like there is no law in Thailand, and that's just so far from the truth. I don't even know the words to say how far from the truth it is. It's just not correct.